All right. Whoa. It's like Dr. Evil. It was like, remember that scene where he's like, he tries to get back in.
Hello, my name is Kevin. I created this channel to find different communities who have unique stories, life obstacles, and something to share.
On today's show, we're here with Sam Skelton, surfer, scuba diver, and photographer. Welcome to the show, Sam.
Thanks, man. I'm Sam Skelton, and you're watching Healthy Hangouts.
These meals here are provided by Unrefined. Unrefined kind of just helps you build a sustainable lifestyle and just healthy eating. And they're 100% gluten-free, dairy-free, and seed oil-free, which is kind of hard to find. So you want to dive into this and get going with the questions here?
Let's do it.
Yeah, awesome. What did you get here today?
Sweet and smoky steak. That's what I'm doing.
Sweet and smoky steak, and then I got the chili garlic shrimp.
Garlic shrimp.
And you just plop it in the microwave. You can eat them to go as we're just eating them out of these little to go containers here, which is cool.
Sweet.
Can you share a specific moment underwater that kind of just stands out? That's like particularly mindful of like where you had to really bring in that meditative kind of mode, or like that like calm mode.
It's funny. This is kind of a weird story, but it actually was my transition from focusing on scuba diving to more into free diving. But I was diving in this place in Florida, and it's a really, really deep shaft. It goes down like about 150 feet. And I was diving with two other divers, but they were kind of like tinkering with their gear, which is kind of a no-no. You should really know what your gear is. And we're down about 80 feet, and one of the guys' valves exploded.
Like literally exploded?
Like, yeah, and it's like bubbles everywhere. And these guys started freaking out. And I was like, kind of like stepping away from the situation.
Yeah.
And I was like watching them freak out and do everything wrong. And then I started thinking about it all. And, you know, you have in those situations, you got to be really calm and, you know, just calm your nerves.
I mean, it's a reaction time situation, obviously.
Exactly. And once we got to everything worked out. Once we got to the surface, it was okay. But that was kind of that same day. I ditched my gear and I was diving with another friend who was really into free diving. And I had my photography gear with me, and we started free diving, and I started getting like just as cool of pictures on one breath. And that was kind of my transition to being like, as much as I can, I'd rather not have the gear and rely just on me.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So, and that's, I still scuba dive a ton, and I love it. And it's necessary in certain instances, but working on holding my breath longer and having that like immediacy, like that immediate
need to react or
react and be able to adjust and do that. I feel like I'm getting more unique and like maybe like better photography just because of like that pressure.
Yeah, right. I mean,
can't really tinker, you know. It's like feel.
It's almost like, which actually, you know, I was going to do this later on, but actually kind of reminded me of back in the day taking photos of. You know, with film, you don't know what you're gonna get. You have to quickly do it. So what I was gonna ask to see if you could take a picture of me, and I'm gonna get it developed. But let's see what you can do here.
Okay, all right.
I kind of already maybe set it up with. It might need the light meter's broken.
So. Light meter's broken. Well, how am I supposed to do it?
It should be set up.
I'm still gonna stop down a little bit just because it's so bright.
All right. Yeah, but then we'll see. You might have to crank the shutter.
Let's see.
This is my grandpa's.
Oh, this is sick. Is it already wound?
I think you might need to wind it.
All right, we'll see if I'm actually a photographer or not. Boom.
That's sweet.
This is nice.
Yeah, it was my grandpa's. He actually took a bunch of. He used to take like machinery photography.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's awesome. Nifty 50 on there.
We'll look at that and see how that develops.
Watch, it's just this like blurry piece of shit.
Oh boy, do I feel like a horse's patoot. I screwed up the developing of the film, so the picture is not available. I'm sorry, but it was just gonna be of me, so it doesn't really matter. Anyways, back to the show.
Started off with scuba diving, and then you, like you just said, you kind of transitioned more into free diving.
Yeah.
You know, that obviously, it seems like it would be a stressful situation, but you're experienced with it, but it's like, how does it contribute to stress relief?
All right, we made it. Let's go. So the whole premise of freediving is lowering your heart rate, keeping yourself calm. So there's breathing techniques you do when you go into training, and it's the littlest amount of movement, working with the right amount of weight to keep your buoyancy correct. So in turn, keeping your heart rate low and keeping calm in this situation, it becomes a very meditative process. It's weird. It's like very stress relieving. That's very therapeutic. It's not a solo sport. You always freedive with a buddy.
Okay.
Because there's something called a shallow water blackout, where you're totally fine, and right before you hit the surface, you just pass out and float to the bottom.
Yeah.
Sink to the
So
bottom.
then someone's there to.
Yeah, you always have someone to help you.
pick
Yeah.
up, yeah.
It's crazy how meditative it is. There's plenty of people I know in the industry, or in the freediving circle, that had depression or suicidal tendencies and stuff like that, who found healing through the art or the practice of freediving. It's pretty crazy.
Finding the healing through that, because people say connection to nature is a big thing for helping with depression.
Absolutely.
People can find other ways, but a lot of people always go back to that nature. So being immersed in underwater, in that I hear that flow state.
Yeah.
Or is that more scuba diving? The flow state.
I think
Or a little
you
bit
can go
both?
for both. Yeah. Scuba's weird because you feel when you have a tank and air, you feel fine underwater. You feel like there's no danger, but there is danger. You got to be monitoring what you're doing. You can get the bends. All these different things. And what's cool about freediving is you're limited to whatever the amount of breath hold you got. That's it.
Yeah.
So you're aware of everything that's going on at every single second when you're freediving. Whereas scuba diving, it's really easy to
you can almost zen out. Yeah. Okay.
But it's a little more intense, but I feel like the rewards overall a little better. By the way, this is I'm not just doing this because it's a sponsor. This is legit. Super
I know,
good.
isn't it good?
Yeah.
What kind of sauce is that?
I don't know.
Is
It's
it-
like a creamy something.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
No.
you're welcome to try it.
Yeah, I might. See, I'm gonna grab one.
Yeah, do it.
Do you like seafood? I
Try a shrimpy. Let's go.
I dumped all the sauce out. Sorry. The connection to nature, and you said that a lot of people have found help with getting over some mental issues or depression.
Yep.
Any issues that you've dealt with, that you've overcame, that you're still dealing with, how you're kind of overcoming some of your, I don't want to say depression, but just kind of mental state of when you're feeling down, and again, why this type of life that you've kind of chosen, of this active, crazy, interesting lifestyle, how that helps and all that.
I don't want to step into the space and say it healed me from depression or anything, because I'm very fortunate in the. I haven't dealt with any depression outside of situational things in my life, but stress is where very, very directly, stress from work, stress from just living a
life,
busy active lifestyle. These things, surfing, freediving, even sauna and ice bathing and stuff like that is just it's medicine, man. I was shooting a vlog earlier this morning out on the lake, and I was just because people are always why are you going out there? And I'm this is my therapy, man. This is therapy.
So have you found that breathing techniques, learned in the free diving made an impact on your stress management, like you just kind of touched base on, and then just relaxation outside of the water?
I think for stress, breath in anything that you're doing is huge. Being able to calm yourself. In scuba, when we were talking back to scuba, if the more relaxed you are, the longer your air lasts. So when if you think about that, if you're breathing heavily and being crazy with scuba, you'll go through a scuba tank in 15 minutes. Whereas someone who's experienced can last an hour on that tank.
Because you're just moderating it. Yeah, you're not.
So the same thing goes to when you're freediving. That being relaxed, as relaxed as you possibly can, that's the longer underwater time you're gonna get. But like you were saying, when you take that practice outside of the water, it does calm you down, for sure.
Yeah.
In
I can
real
imagine
life.
it just kind of just naturally. You find oh wow, it's just kind of just already you seeing it working without seeing it work.
Yeah, I saw one memory that I have happened a couple years ago. It was right when I started ice bathing. And I'd been ice bathing, and it calms you down. You know, you got to work on your breath. And I almost got into a really nasty car accident on 480. I was riding with someone else, and they cut someone off, and it got really intense. And I'd been ice bathing like every day. I was really intense with it. And we like screeched to a stop on the highway, and my dude was freaking out, and I was just like,
You were just calm,
whoa.
like
I was like, whoa.
took a breath.
But fine. And I was like, I don't know if that's like good or bad, but it was just
Right.
seeing a direct output from the practice I had been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, all relates back to breath work.
And yeah, just kind of just having that more of that calm manner.
It's funny how you see this like across different sports too, you know, like, or even like yoga. You know,
Yeah.
yoga's like so focusing on breath work, and there's breath work classes, and there's breath work for I'm sure you're a fighter, man.
Yeah, well, that
fighting.
was the one thing that like a lot of people thought that I was, you know, you'd be like, oh, I'm gonna be aggressive, this, that. It actually made you a lot less aggressive.
Yeah.
I had more, I want to say anger management issues, but I kind of did. Anger, you know, a temper problem where when doing that, you know, I'm not saying I fixed it, but that decreased it big time.
Oh, yeah.
Weirdly, you know.
Well, you
where
can't
would
be
think-
furious when you're fighting. You have to be articulate and know what you're doing.
travel around the world.
Uh-huh.
Super cool. The pictures you've taken, you were just at Kaiser Gallery, right? Showcasing all your amazing photography. But like, what would you say? What destination has been like the most unique? Not necessarily most picture perfect, but just unique in just the experience you had to maybe the photo that you took.
Yeah.
Or, you know, something.
So everyone wants to gravitate in underwater photography. They want to gravitate towards the oceans. I think that's great. But personally, I have been finding so much joy in traveling around the Great Lakes, and Lake Huron specifically is super clear, like clearer than you would ever expect. I mean, like 100, you can see 100 feet in Lake Huron in the right conditions.
That's great.
And in that gallery that I just had, I took a picture this past fall of this shipwreck called the Sweepstakes. And it was out early, I think it was late 1800s actually. It was
Is that the
out,
one where you have the front shot and then the side shot?
The side shot?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. So it got damaged out in a storm, and then they dragged it into this harbor, and before they could fix it, it sank in like 15 feet of water or something. And you can go there now, and you can paddle above it and see it. It's clear as
just
glass.
yeah.
But I paddled out there in a kayak, threw my snorkel on, dove down, and got that shot, just like clicked it. And I knew when I clicked it, I was like, oh, dude, that's the shot. You know?
Yeah.
And when I got back, and like when I went to Dodd Cameron, printed it out, I walked in there, and they were like freaking out about the shot. And that's when I knew it was like legit.
Yeah.
Check this out. You don't get that all the time. You know,
No.
I'll take 2,000 shots before you get a shot like that.
Right. That's
And it
awesome.
was just like,
I mean, it is beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was, you know, I don't know. It's like I want to be like, oh, look
was
how
that?
good this is, but it's like I took probably 2,000 photos that day, and that was the one that
Yeah,
was
that
legit.
just hit.
Yeah.
So you said the Great Lakes, which that would be not the destination I would assume you saying, but what you did recently, which I thought was cool, and I could be wrong on what exactly you did, but in 24 hours, didn't you and a couple people swim all 5 Great Lakes?
Yeah.
Briefly explain, quickly go over that whole shenanigans story.
My friend Joey Kinsley, shout out Sir Yacht. He's a social media influencer around here. We came up with the idea of having coffee one day. We wanted to see if we could do it. And we actually did it in 17 hours.
Oh,
And we got
okay.
lost. We could have done it faster. But yeah, we drove up to Michigan the night before. We woke up at 5 a.m. and we, dove Huron. The Mackinac Bridge goes from the lower peninsula of Michigan to the upper peninsula.
Mm-hmm.
And the right side is Huron and the left side's Michigan. So like within 10 minutes, we were like both lakes. And then we shot up to Superior, then Ontario, and then we ended in Buffalo and Lake Erie.
Okay, yeah, that's such a cool thing, and you guys vlogged it. And
Yeah,
all
we
that,
vlogged it.
and-
Dude, it was actually absolutely miserable because we were just in the car all day.
Yeah.
And then the swimming part was like jump in, jump out.
Okay,
Get back
so
in the
yeah,
car
it's like a
with,
quick.
like wet asses, and like
Yeah.
it was like 17, like pretty much 17 hours of driving.
So you might not be doing that again, or maybe.
No, but
maybe
the next
feature time.
the next heavy claim is
15 hours?
I want to do it's hard in the winter because there's not enough daylight. But in 48 hours, I want to surf all 5 Great Lakes.
Oh, okay.
So I got to wait for the
Is
right
wintertime
storm.
just better storm? Or
Better
waves?
storms,
Waves.
but we have less light.
Yeah.
So
You've been going out on the lake when it's freezing, iced over, crazy. You and your brother getting ice beards.
I got Lake Erie in my hair right now.
Did you just come from
I
Lake
just came
Erie?
out of the water.
Yeah, that's amazing. You and your brother were named most interesting people. One of the most interesting people in it's Cleveland Magazine. Awesome, cool picture. You guys kind of have not the most ice beard that I've seen you guys have, but you kind of have that. So like, one, it's got to be freezing. How you stay warm afterwards? You know, and how was it being selected and being on the front cover of the magazine?
Caleb and I, Caleb's my brother. We do a lot of ice bathing, a lot of cold exposure, cold weather camping, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So we have like a pretty good resilience, tolerance to that. But we got to be honest, like out of all the surfing we do in a year, which is every single month of the year, that's like 2 or 3 times when it's that cold.
Okay.
And we've over the years learned what type of suits we want, what's the best gear. Like today, I was just talking to my buddies out in the water, and we were all sweating. We were just sweating inside those suits.
That's nuts.
So it was like I was not cold at one point today, not at all. The coldest I was when I took off my booties in the parking lot, and my feet were cold. But yeah, it's the right gear is like a big thing.
Big thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
did a great job. I thought.
Yeah, that looked cool. I like you guys are kind of staggered off, and then a couple of the other photos in the inside the magazine.
Yeah, it's been good. I'm really pumped. Cleveland Magazine did that. That was awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, front cover too. I mean, there because there were other interesting people in there, but you guys got the front cover.
Yeah, the coolest part was when I just recently went to Florida on a photo trip like 2 weeks ago, and I came back and bought the magazine in the airport.
Okay.
I was like, yes,
Actually,
that's so cool.
actually, Kari, who's helped put all this like together, she brought me from her work. They had it.
Oh, nice.
She sent me a Snapchat. I'm like, yeah, bring that home. For
Oh,
me.
that's awesome. That's so cool.
You mentioned that you guys are focusing on, you don't have to tell too much, but you're focusing on maybe a Cleveland-based wave pool and maybe a TV show documentary or something. So I guess as we wrap the show up and our meals up, like what you have next going on with your life, and then just explain the wave pool and TV show that you're kind of talking about.
So Caleb and I have a vlog on YouTube right now, and we release weekly videos. It's like surfing, diving, all that kind of stuff, but it's very Great Lakes and freshwater based. Our plan, the whole point and all that, I love YouTube, but I want to get a Great Lakes show. Subject-wise, I'll keep it quiet because we're in a place where we're still writing and trying to.
Yeah, please don't. Yeah, please don't. Yeah, share what you can, or what you want.
Yeah, we're stoked on that. We've had some TV exposure already. We did an episode for PBS last year for the show Nature. We're on season 41, episode 11.
Okay.
And we did a bunch of shooting up north for diving, and then we had actually surfing in Cleveland in that episode too.
Cool.
Which is cool because that's my favorite show growing up.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we want to get a show.
What's the show called again?
The show that we were on?
Yeah.
PBS Nature.
PBS Nature. Okay.
Yeah, Nature. Season 11, episode 41. Season 41, episode 11.
Gotcha.
It's been on for like 41 seasons.
Really? Oh wow,
Unbelievable.
that's cool.
I used
I'll
to
have
rent
check
the
that out.
VHS tapes from the library of that show.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we want to get our own show going. And with my background, and I think we can pull it off. So I'm hoping we can do that. The wave pool is definitely a gigantic pipe dream. But I've traveled around and I've visited other wave pools, and specifically there's one in Bristol, England. And Bristol has a very similar climate to us. It's cold in the winter.
Okay.
And I went there and people were in wetsuits at this pool, cold weather wetsuits. And
So in a sense, it could be year round, obviously.
it can be year round.
It can be, yeah.
And the thing about Cleveland is we're a really central point in the Great Lakes for all the surfing. And people are like, how many surfers are there really? There's a ton. Like there's thousands of people who surf the Great Lakes.
Yeah, the community is. I mean, it's a community.
Totally. But when
Yeah.
you get a wave pool, what you do is you get people who aren't willing to surf in the Great Lakes, who like surfing, who are transplants from California and all that kind of stuff, who would support that pool. And then on top of that, you bring in kids programs and stuff like that. And the goal would be to get the first pro surfer out of Cleveland. Hopefully some like kid from like, you know, like a less fortunate neighborhood or something who never would have had the opportunity to surf 500 miles from the ocean.
How cool is that?
That would be like the absolute dream if we could get there. It's a huge project. It's like $50 million, but it's more me putting that out into the universe. But I do see Cleveland as a really good potential hub for that in the Great Lakes. I don't know if you saw, but we're getting over in near Berea, they're putting in a big dive pool for NASA training and stuff.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what?
You'd never think you'd have that here.
Yeah, right. That's
going to bring millions to the city. This wave pool would crush. Absolute crush. So if anyone sees this, who's got millions, hit me up because I will show you. I will show you what's going on. And I'll show you that there is the people who would come to do this, like for sure.
Yeah. I asked you to fill out the moment of motivation form back in the green room. Did you have a quote that you wanted to share?
Yeah, I wrote this down. It's a little long. I originally became aware of this quote through the Neistat brothers, but it's a Calvin Coolidge quote. This is legit. This is gold right here, right? All right. Nothing in this world can take place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan "Press on" has always solved and will always solve the problems of the human race.
Love it.
Persistence, man.
Yep, persistence.
We're releasing weekly YouTube content on Wednesdays now on the Skelton Brothers YouTube channel. So definitely check that out. It'll keep you updated on everything we're doing. And we're also releasing a product line under a new surf company. Cold weather surf wax, some surf goods and stuff like that. So keep a lookout for that.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for coming, dude.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah.
That was fun, man.
Hell yeah.
Dude, let's go, bro.
Yeah, and that's a wrap.
And that's a wrap.
I like saying that.
Doesn't that feel good?